There is hardly anyone who has not heard about hacking. Our email can be hacked. Similarly, a YouTube account, an Instagram account, anything can be hacked. In such a time, around 1999, there was an incident where a 15-year-old boy hacked one of the most secure systems in the world, NASA's system. For nearly 3 weeks, NASA's entire system was down. If you ask who did this, it was a hacker named Jonathan James, who was only 15 years old. So, today we are going to talk about his story. Why did he do it? What was the reason he did it? What happened to him in the end? These are the topics we are going to discuss in today's video.
Hello guys, welcome back to channel.
It was during Jonathan James's childhood that the internet and computers were becoming popular in America. Adults and children alike were attracted to it. This boy named Jonathan James was one of those children. Jonathan James was a highly intelligent child. However, he had a strange obsession with computers. That is to say, his behavior and life were at a level where it was all about computers, and only computers. At first, his parents were quite interested, much like how we see parents nowadays who are proud that their young child knows how to use a phone and understands everything about it. However, as his obsession grew, they became scared. It reached a point where they decided not to give the child the computer. At that time, he was in a state where he ran away from home. In the end, he was brought back home only after they promised to give him the computer back. Commands, source code, programs, and related things, that alone was his life. After some time, he reached a stage where he was self-taught in hacking and related matters. For hacking, he created an alias name. That name was C0 Mraid. Later, Jonathan James, known as C0 Mraid, would become a hacker who shocked the world. But you must remember, he was only 15 or 16 years old. At first, he hacked small institutions, some schools, their systems, and things like that. This gave him a sense of excitement. Then a tendency to do something big, or something bigger, entered his mind. It's a common tendency for everyone, when we start doing small things, to want to take the next step up. Our Jonathan had that same mindset. But if you look at him, you could say he was a gray hat hacker, a person who hacked for entertainment. You all probably know that black hat hackers are people who do it for money and similar things. But as for him, he did hacking purely for his own entertainment. Jonathan James was one of the first individuals to hack the DoD's system. That is, after that, he hacked the system of the Defense Department's DTRA, Defense Threat Reduction Agency, accessed nearly 3,000 messages, read and understood their contents, and hijacked around 11 military computers. As if that wasn't enough, he then hacked NASA. The fact is, he brought down NASA's entire system for nearly 3 weeks. The scientists there were baffled as to how this security breach happened. When you think of NASA, you think of an organization with the most intelligent engineers and ethical hackers, and he just slipped right past them, doing things in a way that their system was down for about 3 weeks. As if all this wasn't enough, he was a person who even hacked the ISS. Yes, our International Space Station. He hacked it and had control over its humidity and temperature systems in his hands. So, you can imagine his range and caliber. The cost for NASA to reset and fix the damage was approximately $41,000. To put it another way, the cost for NASA to recover the data and fix the problems from the security breach created by Jonathan James was $41,000. Yes, NASA spent around $41,000 to back up its data and do other recovery tasks. In the end, the government itself got scared, wondering who this hacker was. So, an investigation was started. After a strenuous effort, the police came to his house on January 26, 2000. The police officers were reportedly shocked when they saw the boy. This was because it was a 15 or 16-year-old boy who had hacked such huge systems as the ISS, NASA, and the Department of Defense. So, the police arrested him. He was sent to a Florida detention center for about 7 months. At that time, he was also ordered to stay completely away from computers. After this, when his body was checked, traces of drugs were found in his blood. So, he found himself in trouble again. Later, he spent about 6 months in a juvenile facility for this. After that, he apologized to everyone. He apologized to all the entities he had hacked, stating that he did it out of immaturity and lack of wisdom. He was in a state of having to apologize. Later, if we look at his life, the fact is that he fell into depression. This was because everyone in society saw him as a criminal. Therefore, it has to be said that he lived the rest of his life depressed. And so, quite some time passed. Then, a massive security breach occurred in America. A major hacking incident was underway. The first name that came to the minds of the police was Jonathan James. Consequently, the police came to his house and conducted a raid. However, they found nothing there. The reason was, it wasn't him who had done it. Therefore, no evidence or related items were found. Nevertheless, Jonathan understood that the police would come for him again and that he would be arrested. At that time, his depression worsened. He committed suicide, having firmly decided that he would never go to jail for a crime he did not commit. Yes, that highly intelligent person named Jonathan James committed suicide. He didn't just write a short note, but a rather long suicide note. In it, he had written down his IDs, passwords, and information for his accounts. There were also notes for his father and mother. Likewise, the things he wanted to say to society were also written in that suicide note. In short, its content was that he had no faith in the justice system and that he hoped what he was saying would become a strong message in the future. He also wrote that he had lost control of himself, didn't know how to handle the situation, and that he could not recover from it. In that suicide note, he also stated that he would never go to jail for a crime he did not commit. It is true, what Jonathan James did was a very big mistake. Hacking into so many systems and violating security is wrong, just as looking into someone else's personal affairs is wrong. Hacking that many systems was indeed a grave mistake on his part. Even so, was this person Jonathan James, someone who deserved to die like this? An individual that intelligent could have been used in many ways by the government or other tech giants. He could have taken the government's own security to another level. If he was hacking NASA's computers at the age of 15, just imagine what his caliber would have been at an older age if they had hired him right then. His father, Robert James, said that his son was an incredibly intelligent person and that his words also carried a deep-seated hatred for the society that had wronged him. Truthfully, people like him, who have such intelligence at 15, might not fully grasp the gravity of their mistakes. With proper counseling, he could have been guided and shown that this was not the right way to use his talent. It seems to me from his story that a significant attempt to do this was never made. If the government had supported and monitored such an intelligent individual, perhaps today, he would be one of the world's best cybersecurity experts.